The rain had been falling for hours, turning the small town of Willow Ridge into a blur of silver and shadow. Inside the old community hall, a thin-voiced boy stood trembling in front of a microphone that looked far too big for his tiny hands. His name was Aiden Cross, only 8 years old, but tonight, grief had made him feel much older. Just 2 days earlier, his world had ended. His father, Captain Elijah Cross, a decorated soldier, had returned home in a flag-draped coffin. Everyone in town knew Elijah. Some knew him as a hero. Others knew him as the man who fixed broken fences without asking for money. And some simply remembered his laugh, the loud, free laugh that echoed through Willow Ridge like a promise that everything would always be okay. But now nothing was okay. Aiden's eyes were red as he stepped up to speak at the memorial service. His mother stood behind him, hands shaking, trying to stay strong. The hall was full. Soldiers, neighbors, teachers, strangers, but it felt emptier than ever. Aiden opened his mouth once. No words came out. The room held its breath. Then, in a voice barely louder than the rain outside, the little boy whispered, "My dad loved motorcycles. He said riders are like family. I just wish, maybe one biker could come tomorrow, so he doesn't go alone." A single whisper. A single wish. One that should have vanished into the silence. But fate had other plans. Someone in the hall recorded Aiden's words. No one knows who. No one knows why. But within an hour, the video was online. Within 3 hours, it was spreading faster than any storm. By morning, no one could believe it. The entire nation had heard Aiden's whisper. And they were about to answer. The next day began with an uneasy stillness. The funeral procession was scheduled for 10 a.m. Aiden woke early, staring at the empty driveway, hoping, praying, that at least one biker would come. His father had always promised him that riders stood together. That heroes never rode alone. It was 9:47 a.m. No motorcycles. The boy's shoulders dropped. His mother placed a hand on his back, fighting her own heartbreak. "It's okay, sweetheart," she murmured. "Your dad knows you tried." But Aiden just shook his head. "He shouldn't go alone." The funeral director stepped forward, gently clearing his throat. "It's time." The doors of the funeral home opened. The pallbearers moved into position. The family gathered behind the coffin. And then, a sound. Low at first. A distant rumble. A strange vibration that seemed to rise from the ground itself. The director froze. People looked around in confusion. The rumble grew louder. And louder. And louder. Until the windows trembled. Aiden's eyes widened. His mother gasped. Someone shouted, "What is that?" Then a voice from outside yelled, "You need to see this." Everyone rushed out. And what they saw would become one of the most unforgettable scenes in the country's history. Coming over the hill, stretching farther than the eye could see, were motorcycles. Not one. Not 10. Not 50. Thousands. Chrome glinting in the sun, engines roaring like thunder, flags waving, headlights blazing. Harleys, Triumphs, Indians, Yamahas, every shape, every size, every color. Riders wearing leather vests, military patches, badges of brotherhood. Old riders. Young riders. Women. Men. Veterans. Strangers. All riding together. A river of bikers. A sea of bikers. More than the town had ever seen. More than anyone had imagined. Aiden's tiny request had reached millions, and the riders had answered from every corner of the nation. The boy stumbled forward, tears streaming, unable to speak. A giant biker with a gray beard knelt down to him. "You must be Aiden," he said in a deep, gentle voice. "We're here for your dad, little man. None of us are letting a hero ride alone today." Aiden threw his arms around him, sobbing into the leather jacket. The biker held him tight. Someone gave Aiden a small black helmet. Another lifted him gently onto a motorcycle at the very front of the procession. The lead rider called out, voice cracking, for Captain Elijah Cross, hero, father, brother. The riders roared back, for Elijah. Engines thundered like a storm breaking open the sky. And the greatest procession the town had ever seen began. People came out of their houses, stunned, filming with shaking hands. Cars pulled over. Strangers placed their hands over their hearts. Some saluted. Some cried openly. The line of motorcycles stretched for miles. Everywhere you looked, steel, leather, flags, tears. Aiden rode up front, small helmet trembling on his head, clutching the handlebars of the huge rider who carried him. The coffin followed behind, draped in the flag, surrounded by an honor guard of bikers riding in tight formation. It was no longer a funeral. It was a legend in the making. A story that would be told for generations. At the cemetery, the riders parked silently, forming a perfect corridor of chrome. As Aiden walked past, every biker removed their helmet. Thousands of helmets lifted into the quiet air. Aiden stood beside his father's coffin, voice trembling. My dad always said, heroes never ride alone. And now, he'll have the biggest ride in history. No one could hold back their tears. The gray-bearded biker placed his massive hand on Aiden's small shoulder. He'll be remembered forever, kid. Today, your whisper moved a nation. As the coffin was lowered, the riders started their engines, not loudly, but softly, like a heartbeat. A steady, united rhythm. Aiden looked up at the sky. Somewhere, somehow, he felt his father smiling. That night, news channels across the world replayed the footage. A little boy's whisper. A river of motorcycles. A nation moved to tears. People didn't call it a funeral. They called it a miracle. A reminder. A warning. A promise. That even the smallest voice can create the loudest echo in history. And in the heart of one little boy, something changed forever. His father was gone. But the family his father believed in, the riders, the heroes, had shown him that love can cross any distance. Even the distance between life and death. And no hero ever rides alone.